just finger gunned me right into the parking lot. I said, "Oh, okay, so this is how it's
Coco
going."
was a solid backup. Chris has been shitting on Coco all year.
God, this guy Coco
I'm
gonna
writing
put him
that
in
Coco
double-digit
bandwagon
goals.
all year.
He couldn't even get off the plane properly. He got hurt right off the steps.
But yet you're making love videos for Robbie Robinson.
No question about it. I am ready to get hurt again.
Chris, the Herons are back. Welcome, everybody, to episode number 56 of the Battered Herons podcast. I am one of your hosts, Daniel Granada. Alongside me is Mr. KBD himself. How are you doing, sir?
Listen, I mean, we're streaking, right? I don't want to say I told you so, guys, but I kind of told you so, right?
You said that we were going to start winning. You did not say that.
Yes, I did. Yes,
no,
I
did not. No, you didn't. Don't lie.
I feel like I did. I feel like I said that.
You really didn't. And I'm sure the chat will call you out. You never said that. You said that you don't like firing coaches. You never said that, oh, Phil Neville's going to figure it out and we're going to start winning.
I'm going undefeated.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Esteban Dito hitting us with the Phil Neville on fire. I like that. Peter Broski's on here. Hey, fellas.
Yeah.
What's going on, Pete? And our man from Toronto, Richard Greenberg. I am sorry about your Leafs. I am sorry. I know that it must have hurt, but at least you made it to the second round. That was the first time in like 2 decades. So a positive step forward anyway. But we're going to stick it on the pitch. We're going to stay on the pitch. And like you said, we're streaking. We got 5 in a row. And I mean, if you're counting the USL.
Yes, we're counting it. We're counting it.
We're counting. Okay.
Don't do that.
We got 5 in a row. We got 5 in a row. And we're feeling pretty good. So I guess we're going to go straight to Saturday. I wasn't at the game. It was the night before Mother's Day, so I decided to go out with my wife and the kids, celebrate Mom's Day early. But you were at the game. Did you go to the barbecue? Because I know they had a barbecue for season ticket holders.
I didn't make it to the barbecue. I couldn't make it on time to the stadium. And luckily so. I don't feel like I missed much from what I've been hearing from a couple people. I would have liked to go. I think it's a nice event. From what I heard, it wasn't enough, I guess, in the eyes of a lot of the people that are season ticket holders. And apparently this event was for people that renewed early, not just renewed, period.
Correct.
Which, I mean, it kind of sucks. Like, if you renewed, like you're investing. I guess if you renew like a week before, what does that mean? Like, you're real? Like, come on.
What this means is that you can expect hey, renew early email coming in the next couple weeks. So that's the way they're pushing it. They're like, okay, we're ready to drop this early renewal email. Let's give them a couple hamburgers and hot dogs and get them excited about early renewals next year. That's all it really is. And they want to get people tied in early, right? Because if Messi doesn't come, a lot of the season tickets are going to kind of deflate, right? Because I think that's what they're banking on. Everybody's really excited about Messi. We're starting to win again. So let's get them in early. And if we find out Messi's not coming and all of a sudden we start to suck, that season ticket thing might go down the drain. But anyway, let's not talk about all that stuff. Okay.
Well, I want to bring up that. I want to bring up that Messi thing real quick. I wish I would have had time to upload the video, but I saw some video on Twitter, and I wish I could remember who posted it originally. And let me tell you, I thought it was really weird how that whole Messi chant happened, like 15 minutes within the game. Listen, not only is it weird that the Messi chant just randomly happened, but it's even weirder. Yeah, go ahead.
The Heron Outlet is at least the one that you sent me. You sent it to me, and the Heron Outlet were the ones that posted it.
So shout out to the Heron Outlet for putting that up there, because I saw that and I was like, wow, this is weird. And not only was it weird that it was out there, but it felt like it was getting piped in through the speakers. So it wasn't even like a natural chant. I swear to you, that's what it sounded like. I remember even after hearing that, I said, wow, that sounds like it's coming way too clearly through the speaker. Like if they wanted to dominate over the supporters group. And I felt like that was like subliminally planned in order to like get everybody to chant for Messi. I swear to you.
No, the team doesn't want you chanting for Messi. I think what that was is that they have
a moment.
No, they have those mics by the supporters group so that when they're chanting, it's heard around the stadium. So the supporters groups decided to chant Messi, and that's why you heard it through the speakers. I wasn't there, I'm assuming. But I don't think the team wants you to chant Messi. Like, we had just scored. We had just gone up 1-0. Why on earth would you decide to start chanting Messi's name like 3 minutes after Dario Ruiz, our 19-year-old stud, scores his first ever MLS goal. We're feeling good. We're winning. And then we decide to chant Messi. I don't understand. Maybe somebody in the chat will tell me why they randomly started chanting that. And maybe it was pre-planned to go off in the 10th minute, because I know Barcelona was doing it because Barcelona's trying to, get Messi's attention to get him to go back over there. But again, we're tired of talking about Messi. If he comes, he comes. If he doesn't, he can go to hell. I don't care if he comes anymore. I really don't.
It was just kind of weirdly placed, weirdly timed. And Andres Castañeda with the lawyer picture over here. Andres, please let me know that you're a lawyer, because I will make sure to publicate.
He looks like a trustworthy guy. I like him.
For sure, he looks like he's trustworthy. Mm-hmm. He's mentioning that he's going to go to Saudi Arabia for $400 million. That doesn't surprise me.
No, you know what? I don't think Messi's going to chase the money like Ronaldo did. I really don't. I don't see it. I think he has enough money. I think he is a little more about the legacy. I honestly do believe that. Maybe it's silly of me to think that way, but I really do believe that he's more about the legacy than the money. All right, so let's get into Saturday night. Our main man, lawyer picture, Andres, hit us with, we were saved by a 19-year-old David Ruiz. For sure. That was his coming out party. I thought that he played awesome. I mean, the shot, yes, granted, it took the deflection. So it wasn't the cleanest of shots, the cleanest of goals, but it went in. He had the balls to take the shot, right? Because not everybody would take that shot in a crowded box. He took the shot. He scored. He also had a great assist where he just basically handed Joseph that goal, because Joseph had all the time in the world, and the way he slid to win that ball when he was getting chased down by a defender, like I think David Ruiz really had a prototypical Sergio Ramos game, right? For those of you that know Sergio Ramos, he had a goal, an assist, and a red card. He basically had 2 red cards, really, because he got kicked out of the game twice. So I think that was an awesome coming out party for David Ruiz, and I couldn't be happier. What did you think about David Ruiz on Saturday?
Let me tell you, I thought that this was not only just a coming out party, but this is telling you that the coaching makes a difference, baby. Not only from the IMCF2 team, but up to the IMCF team, where, I mean, we're talking about Phil Neville's taking a chance on some young guys. We got Kramashi came in, he's making a huge difference. You got David Ruiz came in, huge difference. And we're talking about lacking in the midfield. And I remember we talked a little bit about how they believed in him more than they did. And I mean, I don't know if maybe this is too much, but in Bryce Duke, right? I mean, he's younger, right? He's working through the system. And at this point, he's showing everybody that he's got what it takes to at least do some of the job right.
If you tell me that they trusted Kramashi more than Bryce Duke, I'd give that to you, because Kramashi's playing more of a forward role. But Bryce Duke couldn't play the role that David Ruiz is playing. Right?
Well,
He's
I think that
box-to-box midfielder.
I think the big thing about both Kramashi and David Ruiz is that they got nonstop engine in their tank, and they're just running a million miles an hour, playing defense, running into bodies. Like, that's the kind of stuff you want to see. You want to see that griminess. And Steve Munoz, here he comes in, chiming in.
It's true.
Bill doesn't have much of a choice after our 2 best midfielders got injured and Duke got shipped. He did have other choices. He could have put in Victor Ulloa.
But that's it. That's the only other option.
Yeah, the cliche fill-in. He could have put Taylor in the midfield, right?
No,
how that's been sprinkled.
No,
but he has been put
he's playing the 6 role,
like
or
it's
even
not
the 8.
out of the norm.
Well, David Ruiz has been playing he's a box-to-box defender, and I did see something that I wanted to get to real quick in the comments. I actually lost it, but somebody said, "Oh, here it is." If Mr. Krabs, for those on audio, he just commented on the chat. He said, "If not Messi, Inter should at least get Sergio Busquets."
Yeah,
absolutely not. I want no parts of Sergio Busquets' old ass. Even if Messi comes, I don't want to see him on the field. He's old. He's done. I don't want to see him. I don't care if he's still somehow starting for Barca, which I don't even think he is. But if he is, I don't want to see him.
Yeah.
I saw him running away from fans over there in Espanol, and that's the last time I want to see him on TV. I don't want to see him anymore. David Ruiz, go ahead.
Yeah, no, proceeding to talk about David Ruiz, like I said, he came in, made a huge impact. Whether that shot was a deflection off of 1 guy or 5 guys, I'm good with it. because the following play where he had his assist to me was a billion times better than the impact that goal had. The fact that he was able to chase that down, slide tackle it to keep it back in possession, and then to have the wherewithal to actually dish it to Joseph for the open shot. Listen, that play alone screams volumes of the kind of player that we have with him.
I agree. And just as fast as he showed up and had his coming out party, he is now gone.
Yes.
He got the red card. So even if he wasn't going to the U20 World Cup, he'd still be gone for at least one match. But he got the red card, so he was going to miss that one match. And now he's going for a couple of weeks, depending on Honduras does in that World Cup. If they go for a while, then, he's going to go ahead and be gone for a while. If they get eliminated early, he'll be back a little sooner. But, I mean, I'm glad that he's getting that international experience. So I'm good with him being gone, even though it's going to, cost us a little bit, because now we have to go with Ulloa, like you said.
Well, and talking about old guys, right? Inter Miami's favorite attorney kicks in, says, yeah, no more old guys, right? Which I agree with that.
Busquets. I don't want Busquets.
Yeah.
All right, but he was great, but we had a new formation, basically, right? We had 5 in the back, we had the 3 in the mid, and then we had the 2 up front. I think the surprising part was, since Negri wasn't out, I think you and I both thought that Harry Neville might start, and that if Harry Neville didn't get to start, it might be Noah Allen. But I was pretty surprised that we finally got to see Robert Taylor playing the wingback role. I told you, he played it last year. Everybody keeps telling me he didn't. I am pretty sure he did. I still haven't gone back to look. I should have. But he did play it at some point last year, and he has the skills to give you what Negri gives you on offense. Maybe not defensively, even though Negri hasn't showed much on defense either. But offensively, you don't lose much with Taylor as a wingback.
Yeah. I mean, look, I thought that the setup was perfect. I think that Taylor hustles enough that he can make up for the fact of coming back on defense. And I don't know if you noticed, if you picked this up, I know Mike, the guy that has seats next to us, he picked up on it. The 3 center backs, they ended up, every time that you saw the left and right wing back, they'd push up, you'd see the center backs sort of split off. And which is scary, because you're talking about leaving Sailor back there all by himself.
Well, I will say Christoph was needed, because
yes,
the way that Carlos Gil just
he's a terrorist.
He just walked through the defense on that goal.
He's a complete monster.
That looked horrible. It looked really bad. And then this other kid, is it Beck? That first goal that got taken off. That kid made Kramashi look like
he did
horrible,
like Swiss cheese.
So Sergei Christoph definitely needed. I don't know if he'll be back on Wednesday, but going back to the whole Taylor thing, I thought that we would see Harry Neville. I was hoping we would see Noah Allen, because we've been calling for Noah Allen since the beginning of last season. But Taylor, if we're going to use him as a wing back, not a left back, right? Not a full back, but as a wing back, I think Taylor can play that role perfectly.
Yeah.
And like you said, the center backs spread out, because we have Arroyo who can fall back like Gregory was doing.
Yes.
Arroyo can do that, right? David Ruiz can also fall back. But when we didn't have... Go ahead.
No, you know what that sounds like? Sounds like a lot of coach game planning. That's what it sounds like.
No, I don't think that's what it sounds like.
Oh my God.
I think that he finally has the players to play the way he wanted to, which is fine. Because when he didn't have the players, he was still trying to force it. Right? What was he doing? He was playing Bryce Duke back there. You're telling me that that's good coaching? No. Yeah. Bryce Duke can't do what Arroyo's doing right now. He can't do what David Ruiz is doing right now, but he was trying to force it. It doesn't work. So that's why people were getting on Phil Neville, because although things weren't working, he was forcing it. And it took him a while. It took him getting into the hot seat to be like, all right, we don't have the players to play like we were playing when we had Pozuelo. Let's go ahead and let's start playing the counter, right? Let's forget all this holding the possession. We can't finish in the final third. Long balls, and if we turn it over, we turn it over. We're going to play the counter. And that's what's been working. That's how we have now changed things around, because when we were winning the possession, we weren't doing anything with it in the final third. So what was the point of having all that useless possession? So I think that that's what it is. And yes, technically, you're right. That is kind of Phil Neville's doing, because he chose to finally change it. The problem that everybody has is, Why did it take so long? You saw it wasn't working. We saw it wasn't working. So why keep trying it?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. You could see that there was changes made. I mean, you kind of have to tinker with what's going on, especially when you're losing out on Campana. Then you have Joseph that hasn't been playing we're talking about in the beginning now, wasn't playing up to par. But changes were made, and it was beautiful to see Taylor out at left wing back. I thought it was great. And not only that, but we're talking about sitting on a 5-game winning streak, right? Whether you want to count MLS
I
games
do count it. I count it.
and cup games, listen, there's
Franco
5
doesn't count it.
games.
I count it.
Listen, listen, they count, period, point blank. Like, whether you like to hear it or not, they count. And it makes a difference to have 5 wins. I mean, I know for sure Dito's not going to agree with the 5 games in a row. He's going to say it's 3 with 2 other crappy ones. But, I mean, it's 5 games. We're on a trend, baby.
Yes, we are on a trend, but we did lose a very valuable player, David Ruiz, next game. Christoph, we don't know if he's back. Pizarro is no longer an option. So we are starting to feel that injury bug, and that might come back to, because that's what we had. That was the issue with us to start with, losing Gregory, losing Mota, losing Campana. Like, at some point, I understand that it's not all Phil's fault, but as a coach, you have to change things up, and I felt like he kept trying to force it, and I think that was the issue with him. But real quick, since we're talking about Phil Neville, I saw Austin from the Heron Outlet. He posted a percentage of possession that we had during the 6-game losing streak, and then the possession of the possession of ball that we had during our winning streak, right? Now, I didn't really want to give you his numbers because he just did it 6 and 5, but I think it's a little more than that, because the first 2 games that we lost against NYC FC and Toronto, I felt like we played decent. I felt like a lot of people thought we lost because of the cold weather. Gregory was just recently out. We're trying to figure things out. So I think some other things came in. I think things really started going downhill in that Chicago game, right? That Chicago game, the Cincinnati game, and the Dallas game. Those 3 games where we really hit rock bottom.
It was a disaster.
Those 3 games, we held the ball 66% of the time. The other 3 opponents, 34%. We were dominating the ball, but we lost those 3 games badly. We looked bad in those 3 games. Now, what was that one game where we like, oh, you know what? Things might be turning around. You remember what that game was?
Miami FC?
The Houston game. Right before the Miami FC game.
Houston game, yes.
That was the first game in that losing streak that we're like, you know what? Maybe things are changing.
Looks a little different.
It looked different. At that point, we started finally changing the way we were playing. If you count that Houston game, and then you count the last 3 games we won, we've only held the possession 40% of the time. Like, that is when things started changing in that Houston game. We stopped trying to figure out how to finish in that final third by holding the possession, building up the back. We're not doing that anymore, and that's what's changed us. And yes, I give Phil credit for finally changing. What's frustrating is that he took so long to change.
I mean, look, but he didn't have all the cards at play here.
The only thing that changed is Arroyo.
I mean, you pick up Arroyo, but I'm saying he didn't have Campana at full strength. He didn't have the midfield that he imagined to have in the beginning of the season. We're getting new pieces on defense, which helps, but we're still getting new pieces on defense. You have to adjust to that. There's a lot of adjusting. And the one person that I could tell you, if I could just transition here, that I see adjusted so far so good is Joseph.
Well, it definitely helps him playing with Campana.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what we've been waiting for. We've been waiting for Campana to come back. And we were waiting for exactly what happened last game, which was Campana and Joseph on the field at the same time.
Can I ask you something?
We got attorney again. Inter Miami FC as a favorite attorney. Love the Pepito Cup games. There you go, Andres. See, I mean, here we go. Esteban talking, because Esteban Dito decides to call the USL opponents Pepito Cup games instead of actual wins. So I mean, I guess.
Okay. I am going to tell you, when Joseph had that opportunity that David Ruiz kind of just handed him, a little part of me was nervous that he was about to miss. I felt like he hesitated. And when he hesitated, I thought he might miss. He might get blocked or the goalie might save it. a little part of me was worried. And I'm not going to say that I was 100% confident that Joseph was going to land that.
Well, I mean, of course, nobody's going to be confident, but like you're right there. What is it? Like 4 feet away from the goal? Like a one-legged grandmother's going to blast that into the back of the net.
But you know what? He got it between the defender and the goalie. The goalie was standing right in front of him, and there was a defender there also. He hit it high enough so that the defender couldn't get a leg on it. But still, like a little part of me was worried. I'm not going to say that I felt necessarily confident.
Listen, luckily he didn't lacerate. That's for sure.
I know Lassiter would have done horrible.
Yeah.
All right. So Joseph looking good. Somebody else that was looking, I thought, really good in the little time that he got to play, Noah Allen. Allen, I thought, held it down. When we had to shut down the last bit of hope from I just blanked. New England.
Yeah.
He won a couple balls. He was pushing the ball up when they had to. I was really happy to see Noah Allen back out there, and he played very, very well.
Listen, I've been waiting for Noah Allen to grace the field ever since that he got injured. I mean, we've been calling for him even before the season started. So the one thing I could tell you about Noah Allen, that he came on the field and gave like full-blown aggression, like that to me screams a billion times awesome, because we're talking about finally getting Noah Allen back, and we want him to be sort of that reckless guy. At least I want to. I don't know what anybody else thinks, but if Franco Negri can run around and start getting red cards, like why can't Noah Allen, right? I mean, let's just collect them all up.
I think Noah Allen's finally going to get a lot of play. I mean, we have a lot of U.S. Open Cup games coming up. We have that league tournament thing in July. I think Noah Allen is going to be and seeing Noah Allen out there with David Ruiz and Cromashi, even though I don't think it was for very long, because I think Cromashi eventually got subbed off. But I'm sorry, not subbed off. David Ruiz got the red card. But it was really cool to see all these homegrown players playing at the same time.
And look at Steve Munoz kicking in. He says Phil is gone by next season anyway, but a little birdie have been chirping that it could be sooner than that, possibly this summer. You know what, Steve? Take your source.
No.
And take him to IHOP, bro.
I disagree. I disagree because if you're winning, you're not going to lose your job. And like I said, he's going to resort back to Phil Neville ball from early 2022, which was defend and counter and hope that Campana can get 1 or 2 on the board so that you just defend for your life and win, park the bus. And it's happened. It's worked the last 3 MLS games. And that's the formula that they're going to keep going with. And as long as it keeps working, why would you, in the middle of the season, it's not happening. At least I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, and Lucas kicks in perfectly. Phil's not going anywhere. They're going to let his contract run out. Listen, if there's anything that does happen, that is what I think is going to happen. I don't think that they're going to release him early. I think that they're just going to go ahead and let him play out the rest of the year, and then bygones be bygones, leave without any sort of disruption or animosity. And then from there, he'll probably get like a cushy job, like a Kieran Gibbs or something like that. And then IHOP. I mean, yeah, I guess we'll do Palacio de los Jugos. I'm good with that. Look at that. And now, of course, I don't want to lose those checks. Dito, come on, man. They're in my right pocket.
All right. So ultimately,
yeah,
in your mind, why are we winning now?
Campana.
Campana.
That is the exact reason why we were losing, and that is the exact reason why we're winning. It's Campana. Period. Point blank. I don't want to talk about Joseph. I don't want to talk about Neville. I don't want to talk about nobody else. Campana is the only reason. And Danny, I wish you would have been wearing that shirt, Saved by the Campana, because that's legitimately what's going on right now.
I think it has more to do with I don't want to say Pizarro getting hurt, but the fact that Cromashi and David Ruiz have really gotten a chance. I think it's injected some youth and some help on this team. And also, let me not go without bringing up the fact that Yerlin has been balling. Yerlin, in the 3 MLS games that we've won, because the beginning of the season, we kept building up the left with Negri, and it was just Negri all the time. The last 3 games, 43% of our offense on the right side in that first win against was Columbus. Last week against Atlanta, 46% of our offense was built up the right side. Last game against New England, 47% of our offense was built up the right side.
Yeah.
We are attacking up the right side with Yedlin. David Ruiz is dominating the ball on the right side also. I really like what we're doing with Yedlin up the right side, and I think that has helped a lot also. I think Yedlin finally getting back to form, which a lot of people, I don't think anybody's actually talking about the fact that Yedlin's back to form, and it's really helping us.
Well, and look at what everybody's like mentioning. I'm just gonna go through the comments, and for those of you on audio, I'll walk you guys through this roller coaster of the comments section, right? So Steve Munoz is chiming in, but Kris, the tactics also changed, right? And then we're finally talking about, people talking about Yedlin, people talking about winning due to changes, tactics, and lineup. Like, what are we doing here, guys? So, like, are we gonna shit on Phil Neville? Or are we gonna sit here and say Phil Neville's that guy? Like, what's going on here with teetering and tattering?
He does have a lot to do with the changing of those formations, but again, he was very hard-headed and he didn't do it fast enough. Right? He waited until that seat was hot, where he's like, "F it, let's play the young guys. Let's stop trying to play up with possession and build up the back." Like, it wasn't working. So I think that he gets some credit, Lucas. He gets some credit for that, even though he took forever to go for it, because we're winning now. All right, now, real quick, we do have somebody here to help us preview the Nashville SC game. But before we get to him, I was kind of curious to ask you, Kris, what do you think our starting 11 is going to look like when we play against Nashville on Wednesday?
I think it's going to be very similar to last games, because I feel like we had a nice balance of defense and offense. I mean, David Ruiz, look, he brought the productivity. He took it up a couple notches.
But he's not going to be available.
Yeah, he's not going to be available. But, I mean, by then, are we getting Negri back? Because then Negri would essentially come back to his spot, and then Taylor could be able to take something in the midfield.
Do you think Stefanelli gets
I don't want that guy to see not even a second on any green field near that that stadium. No way, shape, or form do I want to see that guy anywhere near a soccer ball. No way.
All right. So no Negri. So do you think that it's going to be Taylor? You think it's going to be Negri playing left wing back, and everything else stays basically? Oh, and if Christoph's available, he'll come in for McVay.
He could, yeah. Well, either McVay or Sailor.
Or Sailor. No, you're right. Sailor probably. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
Or they could just do what they've been doing for a while and just move Yedlin to the right center back. They have Taylor playing maybe right wing back. They leave over there. I don't know, Negri on left wing back. I think I could see that real quick. So I could see a back five of, let's say, on the left we have left wing back Negri. Then we have Christoph, Miller. And who am I missing? McVay? No, I said Yedlin. Good.
Listen, what you're missing is the comment here by Inter Miami's favorite lawyer, Andres. Still a firm fire Phil Neville believer. I mean, let's go.
You guys something else. All right, so we got Nashville on Wednesday. For those of you that were unaware, Nashville is new to the Eastern Conference. It's Western Conference team up until now, and they're, as always, looking pretty good. So I'm gonna bring on Uncle Mad to the show. Where you at, Uncle Mad? There you are, sir.
What's up? How's it going, guys?
Awesome.
We're
awesome.
here riding a winning streak, so we're feeling pretty good.
Yeah, good times down in Miami right now.
Listen, Uncle. Listen, Uncle Matt, I got a question, and I need to know this answer. And it's only because our recent two guests, their name is Tommy. So I need to know, is your name Tommy?
No, it is in fact not Tommy. It is Matt. This is a variation of Uncle Mad. That's my friends got onto me for being too angry for most of the time, and they were like, "You got to change your name. You're not Matt anymore. You're mad. You're mad. You're mad all the time." And it depends how many D's. The D's changed based on how mad I am. So
depends on the passion.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Nashville's a pretty good squad. Why are you so mad?
I'm not mad about Nashville SC. Nashville SC is giving me a lot of happiness now. It's more like Manchester United, the Titans, the Predators, some of my other teams that I support that have been the problem lately.
And I checked you out, and I see that you're a Disney head. Danny and I are Disney heads too. So if there's one thing that'll get somebody mad is the crank on the prices for the annual passes. So that's not to teeter off too much off the beaten path, but that's one thing that gets me furious.
No, yeah, that too. There's a lot of down in Florida. There's a lot of stuff going on with Disney and the the government down there right now too. So it's a lot of it's interesting times. Interesting times to be a Disney fan and to be a Floridian, I'm sure.
For sure. And look at Richard Greenberg kicking in. He's a huge fan of your YouTube channel, guys. You guys got to check it out. I checked it out, and it's fun content for sure.
Yeah, Richard's a Toronto fan. He's from up there in the Great White North, so we got people from all over the world coming into this chat right now.
That's awesome. All right,
and so
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna bring it up. Right, you guys are now in the East Coast. Like, how does it feel now moving over to the East Side? Right.
It makes much more sense than when we were in the Western Conference, because like when we first came in the league, we were in the Eastern Conference, and then there was the weird Western Conference seasons. Then because we were originally in the Eastern Conference, and there was the weird COVID season where they kind of messed everything up, and then we moved to the Western Conference. Now we're back in the Eastern Conference, and I kind of always figured we'd eventually move to the Eastern Conference because I just logistically it makes sense. But I think they had to wait till St. Louis and either Vegas or San Diego or whatever the next team that's coming in kind of evens the table. So like for whatever reason, Nashville has always like gotten shifted into being the West in sports. Like the Predators, when they first came into the NHL, were a Western Conference team, and it never made sense back in the day then. And so like for the Nashville SC, it never made sense now. But I guess like, they're not going to move, even though Chicago is more west than us, they're not going to move Chicago west at this point in time. So it's just like, if we got to shoot one team to the west for one season, the new boys, let's throw them over there for a season. So it made for a bad season where it's like, couldn't do many away days because
it's far as hell.
Yeah, exactly. So, but now like we got Atlanta, we got Cincinnati, we got Miami, Orlando, all these like reasonably trips that we can do for away days. So definitely a lot better to be in that regard for just for that in regards just to the natural local rivalries.
Yes.
So I wanted to know more or less coming into the season. I know you guys made the playoffs last year. What were your expectations of the team coming into this year?
For me personally, I was probably a little bit more optimistic than a lot of Nashville SC fans. I think there was like a weird like negativity around the team because like we've been like top 2, top 5 the first few seasons we've been in the league. So I think it was almost like setting the bar too high.
Right.
And so like last year we kind of petered out, didn't have a good end of the season, kind of went out of the playoffs pretty quickly. And I think there was a lot of fans who were like looking at it going, we got the league MVP, we got a 2-time defender of the year. Why are we getting knocked out this early in the playoffs? We should be champions. Everybody wants to be the champion. Everybody wants to be the top dog. So like, and I'm almost like, we're an expansion team. We're doing pretty good for an expansion team to have those achievements.
Especially if you're in those talks.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like you're getting the league MVP, your second year in the league, your 2-time defender of the year. So I think some of the fan base had a little bit of negativity coming in this season, especially because like it's pretty obvious what we needed to do to improve the team. We needed like a consistent like striker to complement Hany Mukhtar, and we didn't get that in the off season, which the MLS off season is kind of weird. You don't necessarily get the same players you would normally get in like other leagues in your off season. Yeah, so there was kind of like a frustration that we didn't sign like a striker. Like we still had CJ Sapong and Teal Bunbury as our top 2 strikers. So I think there was like a lot of negativity, but for me, I was kind of like the fact that we've kept the same kind of team together is like MLS doesn't have a lot of consistency. It seems like MLS, there's so much roster turnover for the most part, and we've had a pretty good team. We've kept it together. Like we're like, it always felt like to me, we're like a player or 2 away from like really being able to like chase a title. So like I was pretty happy about, coming into the season, but there was a weird like negativity from other parts of the fan base.
Well, and you talked about Hany Mukhtar, and I saw that on the last game he got a yellow card. So I imagine that at this point, I guess the team is just trying to find a way to give him some help, so that way he can be able to play, even better. No,
he's the whole offense on that team.
Yeah, absolutely. He's the one like consistent attacking threat. Like he's does it all. We've had a few guys who've kind of emerged, but like in terms of like consistent attacking threats outside of him, like we haven't really had that, and that's kind of like where we've kind of missed in our time in MLS. We've had 2 designated player strikers that haven't quite, worked. So that's kind of like been the big kind of thing that we need that secondary person that can add consistent goals, add consistent attack, and because we've got some guys that are coming in that are pop up from time to time, but outside of Mukhtar, it's been a little up and down.
Well, the couple players that I'm jealous of, I'll tell you right now. I mean, your team has the best hairdos of all time. I mean, you got Jacob Schaffelberg with the mullet.
Yep.
Right. You got a guy named Dax McCarthy, which he looks just like a Dax McCarthy.
I hate Dax McCarthy.
Like. I mean, he looks like a Dax McCarthy. He looks like he works on cars on the weekend.
That is the best statement I've ever heard about Dax McCarthy, is that he looks like Dax McCarty. It's like,
yes,
that
he
is
does.
so true. Like if you look at him, if anybody in a million years would look at that guy and go like, what would you guess this guy's name is? Dax. That is a Dax. That is 100% a Dax.
And that last name McCarthy, it has to be a mix something, right?
Yeah.
And then to top it off, and I mentioned this guy I think in the 4 podcasts recently.
With the mustache.
Oh, I need that stash goalie in my life.
No, you don't. We have Drake. Stop disrespecting Drake.
We're not gonna do that, Danny. I need him.
Don't disrespect the 6th God.
Listen,
if you haven't seen this, you need to look this up. I think it was last season against FC Cincinnati. Brenner got a penalty kick. Joe Willis hit and then flipped Brenner the bird as he was running off his line after he saved the penalty. It's an all-time Nashville SC image.
I fuck
GIF
with that.
It's yeah. It was we all love Joe Willis from the get-go, but that was he's a legend.
He's ours. Yes.
all time.
He's been around for a while too.
Yeah. I think that was kind of what Nashville SC did pretty well with their build, was they got some experienced MLS players like Joe Willis, Dax McCarty, Annabelle Godoy, and then they added some random players like Hanny. Everybody looks for that player, that type of player when they're building their expansion roster.
Right.
We got to find that one random player from somewhere across the sea or down in South America or something like that. That's the hit. And Hanny hit, and that was the biggest thing for us, was that he hit.
But
we hit it with
isn't just a score. Yeah, he's a baller. He's leading your team in goals and in assists. He does everything for you guys. He's MVP, like you said.
Oh yeah, that's kind of the crazy thing about him is we brought him in. I think he was supposed to be kind of your typical number 10, the creative midfielder, but he's ended up basically being our main goal scoring threat. He scores all the goals, he creates all the goals. If he's not involved, there's been
he's a 19. He's a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, he's a 9. He's a 10. He's an 8. He's probably a 6 if we needed him to. He's just crazy. Yeah, so we're gonna do the Jamie Tart type. He's here. He's there. He's everywhere.
He's every fucking where.
No, yeah, but he's been absolutely incredible. He can do so much. I think there's been some crazy stats going around that since 2020 he's involved in 70% of our goals, which is both awesome that we have that type of player, but also it's if he gets injured, hurt or if he has a bad stretch, that's troubling. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, now we know what the game plan is.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So,
dang it, I shouldn't give it away.
Let me tell you something. We got 2 red cards in 2 games in a row. It's not a problem for us.
My third time might be a charm.
Studs up all day.
Immediately, just go in.
All right. So Walker Zimmerman's been injured, but your defense is still balling. You guys had 9 clean sheets last year total. You have 6 already this season. What exactly has happened that your defense seems to have improved from last year? I know Shaq Moore is still a monster.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy because we traded Dave Romney to New England. So it was kind of that was kind of our first kind of breaking up of kind of the defense that had been there since day one. But, Jack Marr was our first ever draft pick in the first MLS Super Draft we were part of. And he stepped right in, been a solid player right from the get-go. We made a trade right at the end of the initial trade window to bring in, what's his name? McNaughton from.
Oh, I think we might have lost Uncle Matt.
And he was on it. He was rolling.
Yeah.
I mean, And
while we get him back. Okay, I think we might have gotten him back. Nope, maybe not. Well, while we get him back, Nashville has only given up, I want to say 7 goals. Is 7 or 9 goals all season long. It's a ridiculous number.
Yeah,
They've
he's
given
back.
up. Is you back, Uncle Matt?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, there you go. Yeah, you broke up. We missed you.
Sorry, my bad.
No, all good. I was just saying that it's ridiculous because you guys have played in 12 games and you've given up 7 goals, 6 clean sheets. It's ridiculous.
That is crazy.
Yeah, no, I think like Gary Smith, our manager, that's his kind of MO, is kind of setting up defense first, for better or worse. He's gotten a bad reputation in certain points in time. Like there's certain parts of our fan base that aren't a fan of him because of, that they feel like, oh, Gary Ball, he parks the bus, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, nah, I'm like, that's how you win in MLS. You get to the playoffs. You don't give up goals. Like that's how
grind it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's one of the things that's like kind of cool about MLS compared to like, European soccer, where just get to the playoffs. Once you get to the playoffs, anything can happen. Anybody can win. Anybody, it makes it a lot more fun. It's like, we watched Arsenal, if you follow the Premier League, just collapse, and like there's just nothing they can do at this point. They've just given away the Premier League. But
which sucks because if there was a playoff system, they'd still have some hope.
Exactly. But MLS, like there was a certain chunk of our fan base that we didn't move for a striker this previous transfer window that was like, oh, we're basically just like washing away half the season because we're not going to get a striker till the summer. And it's like, it doesn't really matter in MLS if you're still in we're third in the table right now in the East. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just like MLS, just keep yourself in the mix, make the moves you need to make. Like Toronto, Richard, who's like comments a lot of my videos. He's a TFC fan. Last year, they were one of the worst teams in the league the first half of the year. They signed Bernadeschi, Insigne. They were completely different teams.
They brought in the Italian mafia.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like if you can keep yourself in the playoff mix and then make a big move in the summer, that's a key thing, because not everybody's going to be like LAFC and just like load up every year. Not everybody's going to be like Seattle and somehow figure out how to win every single year.
Yeah. And let me tell you, Steve Munoz just kicked in. Imagine both teams wanting to park the bus, because everybody talks about, us parking the bus and Neville Ball. So I imagine the same thing that you're thinking of is the same thing that we're kind of going through when it comes to our tactics. But Steve brings up a really good question, which leads us into our next topic, right? What formation do you generally play, and what are Nashville's tactics this season? And I see the last lineup was 4-4-2.
Yeah. So early on, we kind of were playing more of like a kind of hybrid 4-4-2, 4-2-3-1, where it was like our traditional back four, 2 holding mids, and but the last couple of weeks we've kind of shifted to this kind of hybrid diamond midfield, and it's kind of really unlocked our ability to like press and attack. Because one of the things like that's been like a staple that people have complained about for Nashville SC is that we haven't been able to quite press well. Like anytime we try to press, we get the press beaten. But we've kind of shifted to this diamond midfield. But we play it with this guy Alex Muil, who came from New York Red Bulls, which is like, if you're MLS, that's the gold standard of pressing in MLS is the Red Bull system.
I know, they're so annoying.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the worst team to play against. They're the worst team to play against. But like he's traditionally a winger, but we are kind of like the last couple of weeks we've used him as kind of like a hybrid like 8, but we can shift him to the wing too. So we're kind of like being compact when we need to compact, but then we're expanding when we need to expand. So we've actually like the last like few weeks been able to like press more than we normally have been able to press. So it's like kind of opened it up a little bit, and that's like really been like we've actually looked like we're a competent attacking team, whereas like a lot of people have been like, oh, Gary Ball, park the bus. It's like, no, we're actually like pressing now. We're attacking now. And I think, Gary doesn't get enough credit for being like a good coach. Like there's definitely a Nashville SC contender that was like, Gary out. And I'm like, he's won an MLS Cup. People are quick to forget that he
calm down a
MLS
little
Cup.
bit.
Yeah. It's like he knows what he's doing here. So like early in the season, teams were kind of doing the thing where like they were like, oh, Nashville SC just wants to counterattack. Let's just give them the ball. Like Cincinnati beat us 1-0 here at Nashville SC early in the season by just basically giving us the ball and saying, like, you're not going to do anything if we give you the ball. We'll just sit back. You can have the ball.
Yeah.
And Gary has kind of adjusted to that now and started to shift to this diamond midfield where we can kind of press out of the diamond midfield, but we can also sit back and be compact. We can also like shift it into like a 4-3-3. It's a very versatile system that he set up, and it's like it's working really well. DC United, we probably should have beat them at the weekend, but like gave up a late goal, just kind of screwed that game
What a
up
shame.
right at the end. Yeah, it's one of those.
What a shame. I felt bad for you guys. I felt bad for you guys for giving that up. I said, "Wow." I mean, you guys were on a tear. I mean, you guys have been winning and tying, and the last time that you guys lost was against NYCFC back in mid-April.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, and this is kind of scary, Danny. I don't know. This is a scary season right now, and we got Nashville coming up. I'm not really too confident.
Look, I was kind of like I did with New England last week. I started looking at the teams that you guys have beat. You beat NYCFC, and they're okay. The Red Bulls you guys drew. You beat Montreal, which sucks. You guys lost to New England 1-0. You lost to Cincinnati 1-0. You beat Orlando, thank you, 2-0. You drew with Toronto. You lost to NYCFC. You drew with LAFC in LA, I believe, right?
No, that was here in Nashville.
Was that? Oh, okay. I thought it was in LA. Okay, but that's still a good outcome against LAFC, and then you beat Atlanta.
It was like they had played the midweek champions, CONCACAF Champions League game, so it was like I not to kill my own team, but like they weren't playing like Carlos Vela.
No, I appreciate it because I'm gonna have a hard time killing it. So okay. Well, you beat Atlanta 3-1, and Atlanta was hot, but they've been on a downfall. You beat Chicago 3-0. You beat Dallas in the U.S. Open Cup 2-0. And then you drew with, not world beaters, but pretty good, I guess.
Well, and talking about, I mean, just talking over their performance. I mean, just aesthetically speaking, from their schedule, I mean, they look like they're not world beaters, but at the end of the day, it's a respectful run that they're on.
We're not world beaters, that's for sure.
But now, what do you see though, Uncle Matt, as far as like weaknesses on the team, right? We need something to hope for on this game. I know you mentioned it earlier, but what do you think is the biggest weakness on the team?
Walker Zimmerman's been out for like the last 2 games. Gary has said he's been training, that he expects him to be back in time for the match tomorrow. But Gary is like, to me, the Bill Belichick of like the MLS, where like if he says a player is ready to come back for a match, that means that player's out for like 2 more months. Because Reynold Leal, who is our probably second best attacking player, has been out since the first match of the season, and every week Gary Smith has said Leal's coming back. He's close. He's close. He's close. He played 45 minutes. Like that. Yeah, he played 45 minutes in the U.S. Open Cup against Dallas, and then wasn't in the squad this past weekend. So he feels like he's from the Belichick camp of like I'm not going to
coach speak.
They think about injuries. Yeah, exactly. So like if Zimmerman's still out, that's a huge loss, just because he's obviously a 2-time defender of the year in MLS. U.S. men's national team captain, defender level. But I think it's just consistency is like the biggest thing that is our biggest issue. It's like we beat Chicago 3-0 one week, and then we give a crap late goal to DC United for a 1-1 goal. Yeah, exactly. So it's like we just don't have that consistency level of like, we look like one of the better teams in MLS one week, and then we kind of poop the bed against DC United. So it's like it's consistency. I think we're open to be beat because we don't have the consistency level of like the top level teams that consistently win.
Yeah.
How seriously do you guys take the Open Cup? Because we play you guys again next Wednesday.
Yeah.
I think it depends. Like, right, the first couple of games, like we've played like mostly like second team squad. We played like San Antonio the first game, and then we played Dallas, and even Dallas we kind of rotated the squad very heavily. But I think like if we can get through this week, and also depends on like how healthy we come out of the next couple games. like last year against Orlando, we played it like our best team against Orlando in like the round of 16 and lost to them on a penalty shootout. So I think if we get to a certain point, we'll take it seriously. But it also kind of depends on like what the injury situation is. Like right now, we've basically like kind of played like our second team the whole way through. So just kind of depends on match to match, like how seriously we take it.
I think most teams start taking it seriously in the quarterfinals, those final 8.
Yeah.
So I'm with you.
And we're talking about 3 games within a 5 day span. So I can't imagine it's going to be easy. And we talked a little bit about the weaknesses that you think are for Nashville. What do you think are the strengths? I mean, are we just going to chalk it up to Mukhtar and that's it?
I mean, that's the obvious one. I mean, he's, there's a reason he was the MVP for the league last year. But we've had dudes that have like popped up this year that are giving us a little extra. I mean, Fafa Picault, we just signed from Houston as a free agent. He scored like 4 or 5 goals this season. Nice. Schaffelberg, I think one of you guys mentioned him earlier, like that we got from Toronto FC.
The mullet.
Yeah, they had to dump him because they brought in the Italian players, so they had to offload him because of like the roster rules in MLS. So like huge benefit to us that they got the Italian guys. We got him. They're just both like speed demons, burners, just like their speed. We've kind of been rotating who starts, who comes off the bench. Yeah. And it's been really good because like they have that speed where like, that last 10 minutes of the game where like defenders' legs are dead, and suddenly you got a guy who's like
gassed,
got that speed. Yeah. Coming off the bench. It's like, that's kind of been like our X factor this season. It's been those guys coming up because we've been like, there's been a few games where we've been up like 1-0, 2-0, and then one of them has come off the bench and like nicked in the goal late where they've just like run straight through a defense because the defense was just gassed. So like we've got some weapons, we got some options. Like we still need that like real. I mean, and this is one of the things that people have criticized, but been like, why don't we got to send that designated striker number 9 to get 20, 30 goals? And it's like, if that was something that you could just do, everybody would do it. It's like the number one treat.
For sure.
Yeah. That's why everybody's criticized. Like, we're still going with like CJ Sapong and Teal Bunbury. It's like they're just like there's not like 30 goal strikers just growing on trees. You gotta time it. You gotta find them. You gotta go. But like Schaffelberg, Picault, they've been like kind of the new dangerous players this season for us.
Nice. So those are the guys that we need to look out for this week. That might a lot of Miami fans might not know of or might have heard of in the past.
Yeah, because Schaffelberg, like, he was like we traded for him late last season. And it was kind of like a random like pop up, like hadn't heard of him, and like immediately he hit the ground running. And it's like he's a fun player to watch. Like he's not always like gonna do everything, but he's like his speed and everything's fun. Picault has been scoring goals this season, like, and they've kind of used him as like a hybrid winger / striker too. So those are the two kind of ones you wouldn't have heard of that might do something.
All right. So let's say you're a betting man, Uncle Matt. I don't know if you are, but let's say you are. And you want to put money on Miami. Why?
We got legal gambling here in Tennessee now, so yeah.
See, we don't got it here in Florida. They don't allow us to play with the money.
I know. So, anytime I go down to the Disney World, I got to place all my bets before I travel down there.
Oh, okay. There you go. So let's say you wanted to put money on Miami, or I asked you, I want to put money on Miami. Why should I be optimistic that Miami might pull out even a draw or a victory?
I would just say the fact that Nashville SC has just not been able to like consistently be able to do anything is like, we'll win 3-0 one week and then we'll lose like
1-1
or like 1-1-0. Like we lost like the NYAFC game was like the most bizarre game of the season earlier this season. Where it's like they had 2 shots in the first 10 minutes, scored both of them, and then it was all us the rest of the game. We just never could score. So it's just a lack of consistency. You guys beat them the first game of the year. Yeah, we kind of rolled them the first game of the season, and then
I remember that.
Went up there and it was like they scored 2 goals in like 10 minutes, and it was like changed the game. So I'd say that our lack of consistency, the fact that we don't, necessarily like we're not able to hit the same levels week to week is probably the thing I would say is our biggest weakness.
And to give you some credit, right? NYCFC's used to playing in sandboxes. So
Oh,
they were
yeah.
out there playing in City Field, so they can go eat a bag because all they do is play in freaking baseball stadiums. Like, come on.
I think
They're gonna get a nice
between
stadium.
us, between us starting our first couple seasons, we played at the Titan Stadium, and the fact that they've moved around, I think we've played them like something like 7 times, and it's been at like 6 different stadiums.
Yeah.
Was the stat that was out there
That's
at one
yucky,
time. It's
man.
Yeah, man. They've played in
'Cause we
upstate
play-
New York.
'cause
They've
we-
played the games in Red Bulls Arena. They've played in City Field, Yankee Stadium. It's
So
ridiculous.
we got Richard Greenberg that's chiming in here because he's trying to throw some thousands on it. So he's thinking whether to bet the under for this match. I guess that's where the line might be.
That was my go-to bet for Nashville SC matches early in the season, and Richard knows that from my streams. Is like we were like consistently like winning games 1-0 or tying 1-1 early in the season. We went on like a nice little run recent weeks where like the attacks picked up a little bit, but it's kind of kicked back down with the 1-1 draw against DC United. So I don't know if we bring it back down to earth, but yeah. I would expect it to be a tight game because traditionally, like for whatever reason, like all the games that we play against certain teams seem to stay the same way. Like we always lose to Red Bull. Like we've like no matter who's on the field, we've always lost to Red Bull. Like it's like the teams have changed so much in like 4 years, but Red Bull has been like our boogeyman. And it's like the same thing. It's like all the Miami games are tight. Like I remember like the first Miami game in Nissan Stadium, COVID year. Like there was like everybody's peppered around the stadium. And it was like so fun, but it's like Miami's always played us tight. So I would always tend to bet the Nashville SC under because I always expect Gary to like try to like play a little more defensively. But like weirdly, the last couple of weeks he's opened it up a little bit.
Well, and Steve Munoz thinks that this is going to be the worst MLS match of the week. So we got that going for us this week, this Wednesday.
I don't know who Steve Munoz is, but he's an idiot because you got the MLS MVP, the defending Golden Boot winner in this match, and you're thinking it's going to be a 0-0 draw, that they're going to park the bus. Come on, man. Come on. Yeah. Watch a little MLS if you don't know what you're talking about. If you think this is going to, I could be completely wrong.
And it could just be 0-0 all game.
Yeah, it could be, but I mean, like they're gonna attack. There's gonna be attack in this game.
Yeah, go ahead, Danny.
I was gonna say
I was just gonna jump into predictions.
Inter Miami, for the most part, to start the season, were attacking. They were attacking too much. They were attacking with their fullbacks. We weren't even wingbacks. We were playing fullbacks. We were playing 4 in the back, and they had their fullbacks going up, and we kept getting caught on the counter. We got beat on the counter by Kai Kamara, which is like 87 years old, right? So that's how bad it got to one point. So over the last couple of weeks, we have now switched. We no longer try to hold the possession. We're playing that counter. As we say, we wait, we score a goal, kind of like you guys, Mukhtar, count on him to score a goal for us, and then let's park the bus. That's kind of what we've been doing.
Yeah.
Hopefully Campana or Joseph can save us, score that one goal, and then we'll just grind out a victory. And that's kind of the game plan we've been. And it's fucking boring, to be honest with you. It gets boring after a while because at some point you're just like clenching your ass cheeks. It's like, please don't score on us. Please don't score on us, because the other team is just going and just getting their opportunities. And that's kind of like what's been happening the last weeks. But it's led to a 5-game winning streak. And that's kind of what we're going to play. So that Gary ball that you were talking about, that's kind of like what we're experiencing now. But because it's coming with wins, I don't mind it too much. And now moving on to the predictions. I guess we could start. You want to start with Uncle Mad, Kris, or you want to start off?
Well, I mean, I want to get a feel of what Uncle Mad thinks is going to happen on Wednesday, because I have my opinion. It's not going to be explosive or anything here, but I want to know what Uncle Mad thinks. What do you think is going to be the final tally here? And see if you can get Richard Greenberg to throw the house on it.
You know, I feel like I in my prediction video for like the past weekend's match against DC United, I said we tend to like, go on these runs where we have a couple good games in a row, and then we kind of go back to Gary Ball. And I actually predicted this past weekend we'd probably either 0-0, 1-1 draw, and that came to pass. So I was like, kind of. So I think we bounce back. I don't necessarily think we like go off on any kind of offensive explosion or anything like that, because that's just not our style. But I would not be surprised if it's like a 2-1, 1-1 match. Nashville SC win, 2-1, 1-1 draw. Yeah. That'd be my 2 predictions.
Yeah, I could definitely see that, Danny. I can agree with that. I mean, that's not what I'm gonna go with, Danny. I want to know what you're gonna go with. So what do you think is gonna be the final score here?
Before Steve Munoz said it, that's what I was gonna go with. I think it's gonna be a 0-0 draw.
0-0? I mean, you guys are out of your mind. I'd love to know what you're drinking, because I need the whole bottle of it.
Okay,
right?
Well, on as far as we go, when you think of Inter Miami, do you think we have a very explosive offense?
I mean,
Probably
I don't think
not.
that we haven't. I don't think we have an explosive offense, but I'll tell you my prediction. I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw. I don't think it's going to be a bore fest. I think that there's going to be a goal from each side, and it's just going to go all the way to the end where they're pushing for that last goal, and nobody's going to get it, and we're going to walk away with a point. They're going to walk away with a point, and everybody's going to be, happy, and we're good to go.
Kris, they have 6 clean sheets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've been held without scoring 5 games. Kris, we're not scoring on them. We're not scoring on this team. We can't create, and we're playing very defensive now. I think that he's going to hold on for the point. I really do believe this, and I think if you get out of Nashville with the point, I mean, you kind of have to be happy because
you guys got Messi and Busquets right now, right?
Yes. Yeah, but I believe that they're gonna hold them out because we're gonna save them for that Orlando matchup next weekend. That's the big game for us.
No, you know what? Let me just pump the brakes here, Danny, because he deserves this. He deserves this.
Well, actually, we were gonna ask you a question, and we still are, but I'm gonna just throw this question at you real quick. Because now that you brought up Messi, I am curious. How do you feel about Nashville SC paying part of Messi's contract to go ahead and go score on you? Because I'm sure you've heard that all the owners are gonna like chip in to help him pay for him to play with us, which is.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense for MLS to want a player like that to come there, but at the same time, like
I agree.
I kind of think like he's going to Saudi Arabia. Like that's a lot of money for him not to go to Saudi Arabia.
That's a lot of money, Danny.
Who's turning down $400 million for like 1 year of playing in like some stupid league that nobody's going to watch? Like I would do that. I'll go there in a heartbeat. They could pay me like $50. I'll go there.
I can't see it happening.
So you think he's chasing? You think he'd be willing to chase the money over his legacy? Because I feel like the move for the MLS is more of a legacy move than it is a money, even though he's going to get paid.
What are you talking about? Apple's going to give him crazy money.
400 million
ownership.
I kind of he ends up going back to Barca, but just because like he can't be happy with the way the Barca thing ended. And they're like actively like coming out and saying like we want to bring him back. Like La Liga's president is out there saying like we're working with Barca to try to help them bring him back. So I think they want to bring him back at least for one more year. Where does he go after that? I don't know, but I think I would be surprised if Messi doesn't go back to Barca for at least one more year.
Yeah.
Well, I can see Barca more than Saudi Arabia. I just can't see that Saudi Arabia thing. Ronaldo didn't even last a full year there.
I know. As a United fan, I was laughing the entire time about the whole Ronaldo thing where he was like, oh, it's such a competitive league. It's such a fun league. I'm so happy to be there. It's like, you liar. You win for the money and you hate it and you want to like get out of it as soon as possible.
Yeah, exactly. So I think Messi might see that and be like, I can't do that. Like,
All right. There you go.
So this is a question we ask every guest on from another team. We kind of like to ask so that the Inter Miami fan base kind of get a feel for what it's like going. And actually, me and Kris wanted to go to Nashville this year.
Yes.
Until we saw it was a weekday game, which crushed us because I'm dying to, one, go to Nashville, and two, I mean, you're going to tell us now, but I know some of the traditions and stuff that you guys have, and I'm dying to be there in person. But I digress. If you could tell us, since you're obviously a Nashville fan and you've been there, is it a tailgate experience? Is it like bars around the stadium? Do you guys have any rituals? Like, what's the game day experience like in Nashville for a Nashville SC game?
Yeah, so I mean that's the main thing I try to do in like my YouTube videos with like at the games, is try to share the experience, like show people what it's like. Right now, like, we do have a good tailgate scene with like the supporters groups. They kind of always throw something together and like have a big party going for the games. I do wish we had a better like kind of bar restaurant scene around the stadium, but I think that's coming.
Yeah,
because we kind of built our stadium in like an area of Nashville that is like needs development. So it's like it's the whole, basically they put the stadium there, and it's like the idea is like we're going to build around the stadium. So right now the stadium's there. There's more to come, but like the supporters groups, the Backline Collective is kind of like the unified name that they have for all our different supporters groups. We've got the Assembly, we've got the Roadies, we've got La Brigada de Orda, we've got the East Nashville Heaters. We've got like 15 different supporters groups, and they all kind of collectively are known as the Backline Supportive. They do a tailgate together, and it's always awesome. Like, it's just an awesome experience to like go there, because like they have beer, food, whatever. You can just walk up and everybody's just like welcoming, like, come on in. Like, every time that we go there, there's always supporters from the other fans group there that are just like, we're there. And then we're talking. We're like, hey, how's your team? It's a fun experience because you get to talk and be like, because, I think MLS, I think we're still all kind of learning about each other at this point in time, especially new teams like us and you guys in Miami. We're like, oh, what's your team like? Who are similar to this podcast? Like,
right.
What's your key players? Who's, what are your key things? And like, we have a couple, empanadas, have some brisket, have some biscuit sandwiches, and depending on what week it is. But the plan, I think long term, they're like developing the area around the stadium to build up some more bars, some more restaurants.
Yeah.
I always compare it to like, if you guys are familiar with like Atlanta, the Braves, they built a new stadium for the Braves.
And it's far from downtown.
Battery. Yeah. And so they basically just built a whole new city around their new stadium for the most part. And like, this is what we're going to do. And like, I think the Marlins did it too, where everybody was like, we're going to move the team out of the city, but it's like, we're going to have way more cooler stuff around it because we're going to get it out of the city where it can be away from this. And that's what they're trying to do with Nashville SC. So we're kind of in like the infancy of that, where it's like the stadium has been built, but the kind of infrastructure around the stadium is still kind of working its way up and stuff like that. But the tailgates are always awesome. A lot of people here have complained about the parking, but it's kind of like, if you know where to park, you can figure out where to park.
And then you have no problems.
So yeah. It's like it's not that hard of a thing, but you got to know where to go. So, but it's been very cool so far. Geodis Park is awesome. Like, I hope you guys get a chance to come up here sometime, because it's great.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see what you guys do with your stadium, because I know like that's coming soon. So,
and similar to what you just said, we're gonna build bars and a bunch of stuff around the stadium also. So it's like a whole project. It's not just a stadium.
Yeah. I mean, there's hotels. It's supposed to be a business building. I don't know what's not going to come with it.
Yeah, that seems to be the new thing with sports, because we're also supposed to get a new stadium for the Titans here. That it's people have figured out, like, you don't just build the stadium. You don't just build the stadium like in a random spot in a random town. Like, you got to make everybody stick around and like have all the fun and stuff like that, because everybody's going to want to tailgate. Everybody wants a pregame, everybody wants a postgame. Put it all there, all in the same place. So like, yeah, that's all coming soon. I'm excited to see like what you guys have. Like, you guys said you want to come up here. I want to go down there. Like, I've never been to Miami. I would love to go to Miami, but I kind of want to wait till like the real stadium's there, so I want to go down and see the real stuff. I mean,
it's
a United fan, so I'm a Phil Neville. I support Phil Neville. I don't know how much you guys like Phil Neville, but I'm a United fan, so I'm like, yeah, Phil Neville, yeah.
Oh, Kris is a Phil Neville lover.
Well, I'm not a lover, but I respect him as a coach, and he's doing a great job.
They're passing.
I don't care what you got to say, Esteban.
They're passing you the checks.
it's been a funny week for us because like we played Rooney at the weekend.
Oh,
and
that's
we
right,
played
last week.
Villanova. It's like so we got the United Everton mix, just like all going nonstop for me.
So once you get into the stadium, I know that I've heard that it's like a concert atmosphere before the stadium gets started. You guys got the rift, was it? The guitar rift?
We've got one of the traditions they've started for us is like we have a guitar riff where it's like either a local musician or somebody who's in town or something like that plays like a guitar riff and just like shreds it, and it's like right up to the kickoff. It's like just a cool guitar riff, and they blow the whistle, kick the game off. It makes for a lot of fun atmosphere. It's kind of steering in the Music City atmosphere kind of thing.
Do you guys have fireworks during that?
Yeah, sometimes we've had them all season long. Last season it was like game to game. I actually have a follower who's called like Music City Pyro, who is one of the fireworks guys who works for the Titans and for Nashville SC. And he always lets me know like you need to be there early for this game because we're about to blow it up for this game. So he lets me know when there's going to be like extra special stuff going for the game. So like we've like it's kind of funny with like Nashville SC though, because like with the Titan Stadium, it's more of the open stadium, so you can see the fireworks. But sometimes Nashville SC, we've got kind of like the awning, so like sometimes you can't always see the fireworks because they're going off like, and there's like a roof over you sometimes.
Right over there.
You hear this, Danny? I mean, they got a guy with pyro in his name popping off fireworks. And literally all the people here, we did fireworks for like 2 seconds, and everybody almost brought the stadium down. FAA was almost called.
Yeah, like, we our supporters groups got in trouble for throwing up fireworks, but it's because our stadium is right next to an airport, so
I can see why that would be a problem.
Yeah. So and there was actually a plane. It looked like a commercial, small little craft. It was flying right before game.
You're a liar.
The game started. I swear. I even brought it up to Jose in the last game. I said, "Look at that plane." How I swear to you, I'm going to take the picture next time. I promise you.
Oh, you're saying just randomly or during the fireworks?
No. I'm talking about like this last game. It was flying like right before the fireworks. Oh no. But I mean, at the same time, I mean, look at what Uncle Matt's talking about. They have a whole squadron popping off,
Well, it's a cool look. It's a good way to get the stadium popping.
It is. See, I mean, look, Estebandido's saying if they had a mascot, slide down each time a goal is scored. Banana for the Banana Republic way. Tens. Oh my goodness. I mean, Esteban,
I don't even know why
get out of here.
Comment up there. I didn't understand what you're saying.
I don't know. For those of you listening on audio, talking about with the Banana Republic.
For those of you listening on audio, disregard that because we have no idea what that meant, and you couldn't see it. It didn't make any sense reading it either. I don't know what you're talking about, Esteban. All right. Well, look, if you come down here, there's plenty of hot spots to go to. Tootsie's being one of them, and a bunch of other good spots to go and have fun. So I'm sure that you enjoy some of the South Florida traditions that we have down here. I mean, maybe not in the stadium.
You guys got a Tootsie's down there?
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys got a Tootsie's up there?
Tootsie's on Broadway. Tootsie's is Broadway, Nashville.
Tootsie's. Wait, what kind of Tootsie's are we talking about here?
I think we might have the same Tootsie's. I think
it is a gentleman's club.
Oh, okay. Never mind. It's more like
a gentleman's club.
Okay.
No. The Tootsie's here is on Broadway, and it is a honky tonk type bar.
Oh, so no. The Tootsie's down here is it's a little different. It's a little different for sure.
Listen, I've been trying to get rid of this, guys. But I think that Uncle Matt is the perfect guest for this. I really want to know what his opinion is. They're making sure that I don't forget the question. So we're just gonna do. Listen, Danny, we've been trying to stop it for a while, but I think
it's part of the show now.
It's like an irresistible force. Like we can't turn it back. So here we go. We got some options here, Uncle Matt. We got 5 pieces of steak. We got 6 pieces of toast, and you need to make yourself a critical decision, my friend. So what are we picking here?
It's got to be top level. It's got to be 2 for the steak and 4 for the toast.
Hey, those are good choices, Danny.
It's respectable. I'd go 3. I want a little less blood on my stuff, but I could go with 3. I mean, with the
just know, Uncle Mad, that the good thing is that you are a guest that hasn't picked number 6 for the toast. We have one guest that
I would
has.
hope Marcus Rojo.
Oh, no.
That's probably the only person that would ever pick that.
Well, this guy that picked it, and we're never gonna let him live this down, are we, Danny? I mean, we should just retweet him every episode.
And he doubled down too. He's like, I like it. I
He
said, okay. He likes to eat ashes. It's all good.
We kind of gave him the opportunity to squeeze out of it, and he said, no. I love that kind of toast. Said, okay, we'll meet you at the barbecue next time.
Look, Lucas is ready to travel to Nashville. He wants to check out the Tootsies in Nashville. We found out it's not the same type of Tootsies.
Yeah, it sounds like it's not the same type of Tootsies.
No, Lucas, get back in your car. Get back in home. Get out of your car.
We have a Tootsies on Broadway and a Tootsies at the airport, so that can tell you that it's not the same type of Tootsies. They have one at the airport.
Definitely not the same type of Tootsies for sure.
I don't think people would be making their flights if you had that kind of Tootsies next to the airport. Forget about it.
Nope. That's why I haven't done. That's why I haven't made it down to Miami for an away day. Get stuck at Tootsies.
It's a good time. I'm telling you, it's a good time. 2 floors. All right. So, yeah. Oh, Uncle Matt, wanted to thank you for having some fun with us, taking the time to join us and helping us preview Nashville SC. Could you please tell the people where they can find you? Because obviously you are very entertaining and a good listen.
Yeah, I've got a YouTube channel. I do like kind of all kinds of just random stuff. I go to all the Nashville SC games. It's Uncle Mad with 2 Ds on YouTube. I've got a Twitter account where I'll occasionally tweet stuff. It's Uncle_Mad with 2 Ds there. Yeah, so just basically Uncle Mad with 2 Ds anywhere you can find me.
Okay, Kris.
No, yeah. I'm assuming you were going to get to the Steve Munoz question. What's your favorite food / dish before we ride out into the sunset here?
They like to judge our guests. They like to judge our guests.
Yeah, so far you've passed the test, but I don't know if you've passed the Steve Munoz test.
I mean, this is going to be kind of boring to a certain extent, but I mean, like, I don't think anything beats it like a well-cooked ribeye steak.
No, that's not a bad choice at all.
That's not bad. That's respectable.
Kris seems disappointed.
Some type of nice potato dish on the side, or either mashed potatoes or steak frites. You know, if you get a good cooked steak with some type of potato dish, I mean, that's like the ultimate dish: meat and potatoes.
How's the concessions over in Nashville in the stadium? Because for us, if I buy 2 drinks, I'm paying like $50.
Too expensive, definitely too expensive.
Okay.
But we've got a spot here at Nashville SC at our stadium at Geodis Park. Chivanadas, empanadas, they are the best thing you'll ever eat in your life. And they are not as expensive as some of the other spots, but these empanadas, they'll change your life. That's what
empanadas in Tennessee better than Miami. Oof. We're gonna have to make the trek just for that, Danny.
There's some Nashville SC fans who are like Colombian that have said they're not as good as like, you know, real Colombian empanadas. And I cannot judge that because I've only had the empanadas, you know, in like certain restaurants. But I was like, for stadium food, I would say.
Oh yeah. And
they're not as expensive compared to some of the others. Like, you know, you pay like $8 for empanadas as opposed to like $6 for a hot dog. Which of those is a better deal? You know,
for sure.
Yeah.
So like they might not be the best empanadas you'll ever have, but for stadium food, for something you can get in a sporting event, I think they're just the best you can possibly go for.
All right. So, Matt, you are gonna come down here, I guess next year, because you probably won't be here next Wednesday. You're gonna come down here, and we're taking you out to Tootsie's, and we're gonna have some empanadas right after.
Yeah, let me just double check with my wife, make sure that's all okay.
She'll have a great time too.
She probably would. You joke.
I'm not joking. A bunch of couples go out there. My wife has had fun.
I think my wife would be more willing to go to Tootsie's than me, so she's definitely would be on board for that. She'd probably my wife would probably be like, I'll go to Tootsie's, you go to the soccer game and come pick me up after the soccer game at Tootsie's.
Well, it's going to be a sponsored trip to Tootsie's by the Battered Herons. So look forward to that, guys, and meet us out there if and when it ever happens.
Well, again, thank you guys in the chat for joining us. And, as always, you guys are the best part of the show, joining us all the way to the end. If you're on audio, thank you for listening all the way to the end. And Kris, as always, I hate you. Uncle Matt, thank you again for joining us. It was a great time. And actually, I don't know when we're going to be back, because on Wednesday, when we usually record, there's going to be a game going on. Thursday, it's Chris's daughter's birthday. So I don't know if we'll be on Thursday. So,
yeah.
I don't know. We might have to skip an episode.
Well, you know what? We're gonna put it. We're gonna put it up on Twitter. All of you guys that are still listening, chime in. Let us know if you would rather have us record after the game on Wednesday night or not have it live on Thursday morning. So let us know.
I don't think I understood that, but I'm sure that they'll figure it out. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much again, Uncle Mad. I was about to say Ed. Uncle Mad, and everybody for listening. We appreciate you, and we'll catch you maybe this week, maybe next week. I don't know. Either way, have a good one, and let's get this dub.